Hey friends, welcome back to Mustard Seed Homesteading, and for anyone that's new here, my name is Megan and I'm so glad that you came by today because this is my weekly backyard garden tour. And you guys, it has been so beautiful back here, things that are dying, things that are growing, and I am just so enjoying this season right now, and I can't wait to share with you everything that's going on. Now, before we start looking at the garden and harvesting, I do want to share a few things so that you know what I plan to share with you all in the weeks to come. Not only are we going to be planting garlic, so I will be making a video on planting garlic in the green stalks because I find that planting in the green stalks has given me the best harvest over raised beds, buckets, and I think bags, because I can't remember if I grew them in bags or not. But I'm going to do a video on planting garlic in the green stalks, and then we also are going to be harvesting ginger and turmeric as well as potatoes and sweet potatoes in the weeks to come. And then I also want to share that in the weeks to come, probably after my frost comes in the beginning of November, I do plan to make freezer meal videos and probably some more preserving videos to share with you all. It's just right now I want to put as much attention and focus on this garden before the frost hits so that I can get it established. And then as always, friends, I will be doing my weekly backyard garden tours. That is something that I feel very strong about sharing on a weekly basis on this channel every week of the year. That is my hope and that is my goal because I want you to be able to see the garden every week and see what I harvest every week. By the way, friends, I do want to quickly add that I plan to grow throughout the winter time. So I bought a bunch of hoops and a bunch of frost covers and I fit them to size over some of my pallets as well as my beds. Now, I don't know how many beds I'm going to be growing during the winter time or pallets, but I do want to let you know ahead of time that my goal is to grow throughout the winter time, and I will be sharing that on my weekly garden tours. And you guys, Greenstocks has frost covers too, and I bought a few a couple years ago. I plan to use those as well. I can't wait to share all that with you. By the way, I could just keep chatting with you all day because I just love talking with you all, but let's go ahead and see the garden and do some harvesting before I lose the sun. Which, talk about the sun, look at how beautiful that pepper bed is with the sun hitting it. It's so pretty. All right, you know what, since we're over here, let's go ahead and harvest some of the peppers. All right, friends, so I actually have a lot of Joe New Mex peppers, but they are not red yet, and I'm going to probably leave these on till next week or the week after because I want to make sure that they start to turn a little bit of color, and I don't see any hint of red anywhere, and that's okay. But I do see some, let's see, what is this, pepperoncinis, so I'm going to go ahead and grab some of these. We got a sweet banana pepper too. This one is looking beautiful, so we're going to grab that one. And then there is another one growing, but I'm going to leave that one there. And then I think we do have some yellow wax on the other side. We'll have to get those in a little bit. And then I do still have these bell peppers here, but I'm going to hold off on these. I actually just did a batch in my freeze dryer of a bunch of bell peppers to have for the winter time, which has been absolutely nice to know that I could just throw them into a meal or even freezer meals, which is why the excess peppers that we've been getting, I've been putting them in the freeze dryer if we haven't eaten them fresh. All right, so there is actually quite a bit of peppers there. There's some over on that side too that they're not ready to harvest, but I do see some on the other side, so let's go over there. Friends, look at how massive this basil plant got. This is insane. In the ground. It's beautiful though. I did want to show you this because this really has gotten insane. This is a tomato plant growing out of the ground, and these are just cherry tomatoes, and they're producing like crazy. Look at how big this thing is getting, and it's actually going up and into my cucumbers. It's kind of crazy, but I'm really enjoying it. I've had a lot growing out of the ground this year. They were just volunteer plants, and I'm really enjoying watching them and just observing them. Friends, look at this bell pepper. This is gorgeous. Okay, we're gonna take this one. It's another Italian pepper, but that is not ready to harvest. And look at, there's more flowers. And look at the alyssum. Hello, sweet alyssum. You're so pretty. I'm actually happy that I put them here at the end. They're not very invasive, but I will say, I wonder if they would have gotten bigger and bushier if they weren't covered by the peppers. I didn't see this one down here, friends. Look at this. I think this is an Italian pepper. Yep, it is. It was hiding under my little watering system. And then you can see there's peppers down there. And then there's one right here. I wonder if this one is done. This one does not feel done, so I think we're gonna wait till next week. But look what I found, friends. I found a red one. It's small, but these are really sweet and delicious. That's exciting. Look at this little baby one. I'm gonna let this one stay here for now. Maybe it'll grow just a smidgen more. I'm not sure. We'll see. We are still getting mushroom peppers here as well as that bed too, but we're not going to harvest any today. All right, let's go ahead and get the Hungarian yellow wax. Okay, well that one just fell off, so I guess we're going to take you. I'll just take you too. But this one, look at how massive this one got. This one's a big one. Between the sweet banana and the Hungarian yellow wax, they both are really good, but I noticed this year, because Hungarian wax is the first, I meant to say that this is the first time I've been growing Hungarian yellow wax, and I've really enjoyed them. They've produced very well this year. Look at these bell peppers, guys. I didn't even see they were here. Maybe these were the ones from last week. Oh my gosh, look at how gorgeous these are. These are beautiful. All right, these two bell peppers fell off, but I'm very happy. This year, I've been extremely pleased with all of the bell peppers that grew. And friends, look at all these habanos growing. Look at these. These are gorgeous, so I'm gonna go ahead and harvest these. These are very good peppers for me. Look at this one. Oh my goodness, I didn't even see you. Look at how big this one is. This is gorgeous. Yes, please. Before we go get peppers from that bed and those two pallets back there, since I'm over here, I'm just going to quickly tell you what's been going on. All right, so I put my camera under the net because I just want to show you how everything is doing. I have cabbages, I have, what else do I have? Collards. Okay, there you go. I couldn't think of it. Collards, and they're growing really nicely. Now you can see here there's been some bug damage, and that's what I mean. I've been coming out here just checking under the leaves and just hand picking pretty much the caterpillars off of there. And then I do have some kale down there as well, but everything is growing beautifully. And this is pretty much what I'm going to be doing over the winter time if you see these hoops. Now I did buy two different types of hoops. This one is by far my favorite, and this is insect covering, but I do have frost covers, and that's what I plan to do over the beds. I definitely will be doing or overwintering food in the two wood beds, and then I'm not sure what metal beds I will be overwintering, but for sure these two wood beds, and everything's looking really good, you guys. And that cucumber is still there, and you guys, there are more cucumbers that I see growing up. If I get any, wonderful, but I do see some new growth, and there's a lot of little babies, and there's one right there too. Now that one, I'm not 100% sure, but either way, we'll see. We'll see what I get, but I think between that one right here that I showed you just a little bit ago, and we'll see what happens with that one under the cover, but I may get another couple of cucumbers, so I'm really excited about that. I'm actually gonna harvest a couple of tomatoes in here real quick. By the way, friends, I want to tell you something. Take a cherry tomato. If you want to volunteer plant, take a cherry tomato and just squish it into the ground, because the tomatoes that fell on the ground here, that's how this massive tomato volunteer plant happened, because tomatoes fell on the ground, and it's pretty much like that throughout the garden. So go ahead and smash a couple of cherry tomatoes. And since we're over by the wood beds, here's the other bed. Now this one is not as far along as the other one because I planted this a little bit later. And there's actually, I don't know, this one might survive, but I do have 1 and 2 spots that I have to fill. That's why I always have extra starts on hand just to fill in spots that need it. Friends, look at these tomatoes. I'm telling you, I am so excited. And then there's another one right there. They're everywhere, guys. I am so excited. This is why I love the fall time. Okay, let's check these peppers real quick. So here are the Tabasco peppers. I'm actually not going to touch these. I'm gonna let a lot of these turn red before I start grabbing them, and then I need to do some research. By the way, if you guys have a great recipe, please leave them down below. I'd love to know, because I've never made anything with Tabasco peppers, nor have I even grew them before. So this is my first time. All right, we definitely have some shishitos over here, and one actually turned red on me. So let's grab this one. And I feel like I'm getting a lot of Santa Fe's. You can see they're all over. So I'm gonna grab a few of those too. And look, we got more cayennes too. Friends, look at those bell peppers. I believe these are the golden sunshines. They are gorgeous. You know what though? I'm actually, I think I'm just gonna harvest this one and leave the other one, because the other one's a little small still. There are so many peppers, friends. So many peppers. Look at this one. This one, I think I'm gonna leave one more week. And we got more mushrooms that I'm not going to take. And then you guys, look at, this is a Hungarian yellow wax right here. Look at how beautiful. I almost thought a bug got in there. Let's go ahead and grab these two. All right, I'm just gonna go in here because these are a little bit tangled, and I'm gonna grab as many peppers as I can. All right, we do still have quite a bit of peppers, but I'm gonna leave a few of these on here to grow some more. I also still have, I wanted to show you because this feels heavy, full of the yellow jalapenos, and you can see they're kind of lime green, but once they turn yellow, we'll grab some more. Now friends, this back pallet has been absolutely amazing. I am super excited with the amount of peppers that I've been harvesting from this, considering that they're growing in bags, some of them even a 2 or 3 gallon grow bag. But we're gonna go ahead and harvest as much as possible. Friends, that's a lot of peppers, and there's still so much growing. All right, before it gets too dark on me, I want to go and harvest the tomatoes, but let's quickly walk around. I just wanna share with you what's been going on, what I still have left to do. So last week, I had shared all of my buckets have been filled with plants. You can see I put the little covers on in case squirrels wanna try to attack it. Now this doesn't keep bugs out, but it does keep the squirrels out. But when they start to get too big, this is probably where I'm going to take the frost covers out if I need to. I'm not really sure if I will, but if I need to, I do have them. And then friends, look at the tomato plant. So we are gonna actually harvest that. Let me hop up here. Okay, I'm gonna do this without the camera in my hand because I might fall. Look at that, you guys. Oh my goodness, is that beautiful. I will tell you, I do love this trellis system for the tomatoes, and it is giving me some ideas. So I don't know, but I am really, really liking the tomatoes on there. And there's more tomatoes too right here too. So pretty. This one actually, I wanna harvest that too. And this side as well, everything is completely planted. I have a mix of the jicama that's still growing, some tomatoes that are growing, and some lettuces. Now I do want to point something out. Some lettuce is doing fabulous. I can't wait for that to head. And I have some other baby ones, but this is where it's a hit or miss. You see how this is stemming straight up as opposed to, let's say, a lettuce that looks like this. Don't mind the straw. The squirrels attacked my straw today, so I have to fix that. But do you see the difference? What's going to happen is that's going to seed. So this lettuce is more than likely bitter. I mean, sometimes you can check, it might be edible, but it's gonna seed. Now, I might actually let it just seed on its own so I can get some seed anyways, because I do have other lettuce growing in other spots, so I'm not sure, but I do wanna point that out. That's what it does when it starts to go to seed. We got green beans over here too. Then this is actually a tomato plant that I took off of a tomato plant and stuck in here, and it's growing really nice. I don't know if I'll get anything from it, but it's okay. And everything else is growing really good in here. Now, when it comes to these back pallets, because I may not have time to grab green beans, I might at the very end come back here and pick a bunch. But for the most part, I still have to come back here and plant in a few spots because I did clean this out, but I had showed you all last week that I had cleaned them out. I just didn't have a chance to come back here. But you can see, look at that's squirrel damage right there because the tops were chewed off. So for the most part, it is what it is. I understand that with this being so close to the woods back here, that it's going to happen. That is why I bought frost covers and insect netting to fit these pallets if I needed to. But I just started actually having more squirrel damage recently that I've been noticing even more so than before. So if I need to bring out the frost or the insect coverings, I will. Two things, by the way, before we go to the rest of the garden. The Napa cabbage, you guys, is growing really nice. I don't want to take that out. I've always had a hard time growing Napa cabbage, but these three so far are giving me hope, and I'm really hoping that they're going to grow really good back here. And friends, look at this spinach. So this was actually growing in the summertime, and I actually did get some spinach, and then I didn't take it out. Look at this. It is actually growing spinach right now. I've always had a hard time growing spinach. I don't know why, but I have. So to see this really is exciting, and I wanted to share that with you. All right, look at all those tomatoes too. They're everywhere, you guys. They are everywhere. Actually, I'm gonna grab a few of these. All right, friends, I am going to grab all the tomatoes as much as I can before it gets dark. And again, I am just letting all of these raised beds have the tomatoes. I am just letting them go literally up into the frost and probably past the frost. And then I will start tearing everything out and start to mend the beds. Friends, I feel like I say this every week, but as I was picking the tomatoes off of the plants, all I saw was just, not only did they look healthy, but all I saw was just a bunch of green tomatoes. And I am so excited to be picking these with you in the weeks to come. I almost feel like the fall garden for tomatoes has been more productive and just a lot less stressful than the summer garden was. Even though I had such a great harvest during the summertime continuously, I just feel like this is a little bit less stressful. Now, before it gets completely dark, I'm going to show you the rest of the garden and everything that's growing, and then we're going to take a look at the harvest. All right, so I'm just going to stand back and kind of tell you what's going on over here because it is getting a little bit dark. But those 4 bags on the ground that has all of my bush roma tomatoes, there are clusters of tomatoes. I shared a little bit in the very beginning of the video. I think I showed a cluster of them, but there's a bunch there. And even that tomato plant that's growing out of the ground is still producing a lot of cherry tomatoes. I also just recently filled in the green stalk, and that is growing really good. We do have peppers that are still growing. And then last week, I know I shared that I had filled all of these bags. Thankfully, you guys, the squirrels have not attacked any of these, and they're growing really good. So I will definitely keep you updated every week on how these are doing. By the way, this lettuce over here, it's called Pablo lettuce, and the head of this lettuce was like a green and a purple, and it just looked gorgeous. And so far it's looking really good, and I am hoping that we'll be able to harvest a large head of lettuce from this later on in the season. And then friends, here are the 3 platforms that my hubby built for me. I do want to quickly show you something because I'm going to be putting 3 green stalks, the terracotta, the blueberry, and the blackberry. And what he did with these, because our ground is so uneven here, I just want to show this to you really quickly because he's so smart. Look at how he did the legs. So he pointed it in hopes to grip the ground better. So I'm very excited for these platforms that he built. And so hopefully next week I'll be able to get these on here. I do need him to level them a little bit, so I'm not sure if I'll get them on there right away, but I did want to quickly show you what he built. And the trellising system back here, friends, is doing very well. I'm already starting to see blooms for the snap peas, so I'm very excited about that. This trellising system was actually made for snap peas, but I use them them for cherry tomatoes during the summer, and I think it did fairly well. But so far for snap peas, it's doing really good, and the lettuce is growing very good as well. This one so far is looking really pretty, and it's probably going to be one of my favorite. It almost looks like a butterhead lettuce. I think this is the Landis lettuce. If I remember the winter Landis lettuce, it's my first time ever growing it. As far as back here, nothing has really changed other than the fact that I had replanted all of these green beans the last time you saw them. They are starting to show some buds, so hopefully we'll get another harvest of green beans before the winter hits. This one definitely died, so I have to fill this spot. There's a couple spots that I still have to fill, like this one I had shown you last week that I put a Dollar Tree wire garbage bin over here because I have to put another start in here and then cover it so the squirrels don't get it. And then I still plan to add another one here because the squirrels got that one as well. But for the most part, friends, everything is looking really good. I still have these tomato plants that are growing tomatoes while also growing collards and cabbages in the very middle. Now, I have shared this before. These trellises that I usually have in these bags during the summertime, I typically take them out for the winter, but I've decided to leave them in here because here's my thinking. One, I don't want to take them out, but the other thing is if I put something in here and I need to cover it with a frost cover, I could use this for stability or to, you know, put a clip on to hold it better. And so that's my thinking behind it. We'll see what happens, but I do plan to leave them all in all of the bags. Oh, friends, we have some tomatoes back here. I didn't see these. Oh, the camera's covering it, sorry. Look at that. So nice, thank you. Now, if I were to clear out any tomatoes, it would definitely be these two pallets first before I hit the beds, possibly. But these, while they're still producing, I would rather take these out than the other beds first. And then you guys, this is my overwinter pepper plant. This is the poblanos. Look at how well they're growing. I'm not gonna harvest these today, maybe next week, but I do plan to put that back in the garage. Friends, look at this Napoleon sweet. Oh my gosh, I didn't even know that was growing. I'm gonna wait till it turns a little blush, but that's exciting. I didn't even see this here, friends. And it's growing, I wanna say this is a 5-gallon grow bag. And then this is a jalapeno in a very small bag, and you can see the squirrels got in there. These little stinkers, I'm telling you, they are little stinkers. Oh my goodness. All right, I quickly went through the green beans and just harvested a few. There's actually not a ton because we've been harvesting, but I do see a lot of buds, so we'll hopefully harvest a little bit more before the season ends. There's my little Brussels sprout. Hopefully I get some this year, friends. All right, friends, let's go ahead and see what we harvested this week. Friends, I'm telling you, every week when I share the harvest, it blesses me because this right here just makes me so happy. All the hard work, coming out here, staying on top of things, checking for bugs, make sure everything's being watered. It just makes me so incredibly happy. I'm kind of losing focus, but hopefully you can see everything. So we have a bunch of peppers. So these are sweet peppers. These are not hot peppers. So that's why I put them over here on this side. And then I did put all of the hot peppers right here in the middle, as well as some cherry tomatoes right there. And then I tried to divide the plum tomatoes from the other tomatoes with the Kentucky Wonder green beans. I had to grab some Kentucky Wonders, you know how I am. But I put those in between to try to tell the difference or kind of divide it in a way, because I just grabbed this basket to come outside. But friends, this is so fun for me. You have no idea how much joy this brings me to come back in my backyard and harvest all of this food every week. Now, I do want to quickly say that during the winter time, I'm definitely not harvesting that much food, but I am harvesting cold hardy food like broccoli and cauliflower and some kale. And even that in its abundance is exciting for me because this is food that I know how it was grown and I'm growing it for my family to eat. And it makes me as a mom, as a wife, it makes me so happy to know that my family is eating nutritious food that I actually grew and put all the hard work into growing it, it just makes me incredibly happy. And then of course we got a little bit of green beans, not as much as the previous weeks, but that's okay because we've been harvesting quite a bit. But like I said, hopefully we'll be harvesting even more. And I actually just put on, I think like 2 weeks ago now, a harvest of green beans just in the green stalks because there was so many green beans in the green stalks, and I purposely planted them in the green stalks that I'm going to be planting the garlic in because green beans do help fix nitrogen into the soil, and I'm actually going to be taking those out tomorrow to start getting them ready for the garlic video to show you all how I plant garlic. So friends, I greatly appreciate you all coming through the garden with me this week. I love to share my garden, my journey with you all, because if I can do it, friends, you can do it. And just know I appreciate every single one of you, and I really look forward to seeing you guys next time. And always remember this, friends. I want you to be encouraged, stay encouraged, and always stay inspired. And I'll see y'all next time. Bye. You got this, friends. I'm always rooting for you.